So Unit 4, the first important question for chapter 1 is about the types of semiconductors we have. Extrinsic, intrinsic, N-type and P-type, all the types. So intrinsic, first coming to intrinsic conductors. These are pure conductors. So pure conductors either of silicon or germanium. Then they have equal electrons and holes. Their number of electrons and holes are same. That is intrinsic semiconductor. Then extrinsic semiconductor, these are doped. That means they are artificially made by introducing electrons or holes. So if electrons are introduced, then that is an N-type conductor. Extra electrons are introduced. Then P-type semiconductors, they have holes, positive. So these are holes, that means the number of electrons is less. So these are extrinsic semiconductors and N-type and P-type. Let us see the abbreviation to remember. It is PIN, PIN. P for pure, that means intrinsic semiconductor. Impure for extrinsic semiconductor. N or P-type, which are the divisions of extrinsic semiconductors. So don't forget to draw this flowchart. And if this flowchart, if you understand and you can write it in sentences, then the answer will be complete. Right? So next, let us see the next question. Band theory and its limitations. What is band theory of metals? So band theory suggests that orbitals in metals, they overlap with each other and form bands, which are called energy bands. So these energy bands are of two types, valence band and conduction band. So both two bands are formed. Then they also suggest that some properties of metals, that is electrical conductivity, how electric conductivity is achieved using these bands, then thermal conductivity, and also malleability, how they can be expanded into sheets, how metals can be converted into sheet like forms. So this is how the theory postulates are present. Then and also luster, how they shine, how metals shine. Then let us see how the theory band formation. For example, here we have taken two lithium atoms. So 2s1, 2s1. First atom and first lithium atom, second lithium atom. These are atomic orbitals. Now these two combine to form two molecular orbitals, which are called antibonding and bonding. So that means these two electrons will pair in the bonding molecular orbital, and one more empty orbital is formed, that is called anti-bonding molecular orbital. If three lithium atoms, they form the metal crystal, then we have three atoms, three atomic orbitals, then three molecular orbitals are also formed. Bonding, non-bonding and anti-bonding. Three molecular orbitals are formed. Here three electrons are present. Two are present in the bonding molecular orbital. One is present in non-bonding and empty anti-bonding molecular orbital is formed. So these all together, they exist like a band. If there are n number of atoms, that means more number of atoms are present, all these molecular orbitals will exist together like a band of energy. This is how bands are formed according to band theory of metals. Then, so here they have they are arranged according to their energy. Here the least energy, more higher, and still more higher, because the energy level, number of bands are also increasing. So this is how bands are formed, and to remember this, we have ECT-ML. It is, the properties can be remembered. Electrical property can be understood by the band theory. Conductivity also can be understood. Thermal conductivity, malleability and also luster. All these can be easily explained with the help of these bands. Then the next question is Hardy-Schulze law and significance of gold number. This question is very important from Unit-4 chapter 3, that is Hardy-Schulze law. First, higher valency, then stronger coagulation. If a colloid has to be coagulated, then the electrolyte that is to be added should contain higher valency. That is Hardy-Schulze law. Then gold number. Gold number will tell about or will measure the protective power of a lyophilic colloid. That means, suppose if a lyophobic colloid has to be protected from water, then a lyophilic colloid is to be added. So the protective power, how effectively a lyophilic colloid can protect lyophobic colloid, that is measured by gold number, right? So lower the value, then the protection will be high for that colloid, lyophilic colloid. Then the abbreviation VPG, valency, power, higher valency, higher power, that is gold number. And the one is gold number, which is the protective value. Here it is lower value, better protection. For Hardy-Schulze law, higher value, strong coagulation. Lower value, higher protection. That is gold number. So easy, right? Then, so the last question, here we have properties of colloids. So 5 properties of colloids: kinetic, optical, electrical, other. Colligative properties are also included. Other includes adsorption and colligative properties. So these are all the 5 properties of colloids. In these 5 properties, kinetic property includes Brownian motion and diffusion. Diffusion we all know from movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration. Whereas Brownian motion is the colloidal particles, they are always in continuous motion. They are always moving. So this movement will affect their movement. Like if the molecules are present here and there, and one molecule started moving, so it starts moving like this, hits this molecule, and again changes its direction, hits this molecule, changes its direction. So this zigzag movement is called Brownian motion. Now this is continuous and rapid in nature. So that is Brownian motion. Then optical, Tyndall effect, and they are also colored. Some colloids are colored, and there is a specific effect called Tyndall effect. Now Tyndall effect suggests that when light is passed through colloidal solutions, we can see the path of the light when it enters the solution. So that means because it disperses inside the colloidal solution. So that is why all the colloidal particles, they start scattering the light, they reflect the light particles, and thus we can see the whole path of the light ray that is passing through the solution. So that is called Tyndall effect. Then electrical, colloids have charge and they are also affected by electrophoresis, and coagulation also occurs in colloidal solutions. That means already colloidal particles are large, but in some conditions when electrolytes are added, all the colloidal particles, they start coming closer, they stick together and form one big molecule, one or many big molecules, and all the particles will be separated and the solvent will be separated. So that is how coagulation occurs. This is about the properties. Then adsorption, colloids can adsorb, not absorbing, they don't take the liquid molecules into themselves, but they just attach on the surface of the colloids. Now that is adsorption. then they also show colligative properties like normal solutions, like boiling, elevation of boiling point, depression of freezing point. So all these are also shown by colloids. So to remember, we have KO, EO. K for kinetic properties, O for optical properties, Tyndall effect and color, E electrical property, charge and electrophoresis. Then other properties we have adsorption and colligative properties. So with this we have completed all the important questions in chemistry 4th sem. All units we have covered. So all these are given as important points only, important questions with important points only. So for complete answers, please download our app and continue your preparation. Thank you.